So I figured we were gonna be doing some badass shit. So I came here on a whim and started working on cars. I don't make a lot of money, but damn, it's cool as fuck.
All right, let's talk about the universe and the meaning of life. You get in a rocket ship, you go up, you keep going, you keep going, you keep going. You travel, you travel, you travel. Eventually, you're going to come to a conclusion about the size of the universe. Either it is infinite and it goes on forever, or it's finite. In either case, understanding the size of the universe is beyond the limits of human cognition. If the universe is infinite, how can that be? How can it just keep going and going and going and never end? But if the universe is finite, well, what brings it to the end? And we think, well, what's on the other side?
Some of the key concepts of existentialism is understanding that the human being is in fact a finite creature, in the sense that we're all given a due date, right? We're all born, we all live, and at some point or another, we're all going to die, right? What we do in between that time is in fact what our life is going to be, right? In the sense that the individual that becomes from the moment you're born to the moment that you cease to exist, that individual is the person that your life is.
Allá por el 1917, una señora aquí en el puente Santa Fe llamada Carmelita Torres, y para los que no sabían, en el puente aplicaban lo que usaban los nazis, que es la desintoxicación de los cuerpos. Entonces en aquel tiempo nosotros los mexicanos que veníamos para acá nos desintoxicaban. Esta mujer Carmelita Torres, una mujer como todos nosotros, una mujer que no es una intelectual, sino era una trabajadora, era de las que venían a las casas a limpiar. Decidió decirles no en el puente, que ella no se iba a someter a esos tratamientos. Sartre decía que un hombre es lo que hace con lo que hicieron de él, ¿no? Entonces, aquí la individualidad de Carmelita, por ejemplo, fue surgir entre la muchedumbre, ¿no? Surgir y ser un individuo y tener su propio pensamiento. Kierkegaard, el pionero, uno de los pioneros del existencialismo, hablaba mucho de que pues, las masas se componen de individuos, pero cabe en cada individuo ser un individuo, ¿no?
My family, they wanted me to be military, and I didn't want to be in the military. I thought it was kind of pointless. My mom, she wanted me to stay at home. Since as far back as I can remember, I always wanted to work on cars. I like cars a lot. I was making $10 an hour, and I was studying to be a history major. I was going to go teach dumbass kids about history that didn't give a shit. And I thought it was miserable. It was boring because I knew more about history than my damn history teachers. And I got tired of that. My friend Aaron, he opened the shop, and he called me. Well, I called him up one day just to see how he's doing. And he asked me if I wanted a job. I said, fuck it. Hell yeah, I want a job. Get to work on cars.
Just by virtue of being born, we all know for a fact that you're thrown into this world that we don't really understand. For example, we have all of these structures that we've put into place that help give it some sort of meaning.
So I was asked to talk about existentialism, to explain existentialism, which is a fascinating philosophy that I was fascinated by when I was younger. And I'm going to focus about only two statements that were made by Jean-Paul Sartre. The first one is, which is the essence of existentialism, or you might say is the foundation or the basis of existentialism. It goes something like this. Existence precedes essence. In order for us to understand that statement, we need to understand what essence means. Essence is what makes something what it is, different from anything else.
The idea is that existence precedes essence. That is to say, you exist and then you have a meaning, not the other way around like the pair of scissors, where the pair of scissors are brought into existence for a meaning, right?
It's like, at a certain point, I only have so much energy to expend in my life. What the fuck am I going to do with it? And I'm not going to, why throw, a brick through a window, or why get angry at things, and why just focus on yourself? I feel like if I can find a way to balance my own selfish interests with good friends, good society, and radical politics like gardening. What's your food insecurity problem? Let's grow some fucking crops. Like, all I can really do is think about how there's nothing. That we're all gonna die, and I better make it mean something now. I better make it last.
¿Qué me hace feliz? Es ir en contra de mi familia, de los estereotipos de las familias, de que tienes que casarte con un buen hombre de apellido, que tenga un buen trabajo, que tenga buen físico. Yo tuve eso y no fui feliz, al contrario, fui maltratada, sufrí mucho y realmente a los ojos de las demás personas decían que yo tenía la pareja perfecta, que era una persona de buen hombre, que tenía buen trabajo, que tenía buen físico, pero detrás de eso yo no fui feliz. Y ahora me escapé y sigo buscando mi felicidad y realmente no es lo que mi mamá o mi papá o lo que mi familia pide, pero realmente seguía haciendo lo que mis papás querían para que yo fuera como ellos querían y hacerlos a ellos felices. Sin embargo, yo no lo fui. Entonces ahora estoy disfrutando este momento y sé que soy criticada porque a lo mejor estoy haciendo cosas que no van bien ante la sociedad, pero es un proceso que tengo que iniciar para poder volver a ser feliz e intentarlo.
So why is that statement important? Why is it significant that existence precedes essence? Because it suggests that there is no human essence, or to be more precise, there is no human nature. But why is that important? Well, if there is no human essence, if there is not a predetermined human essence or human nature, therefore that we are free to do whatever we want. We are free to choose whatever we want. We are not predetermined in any way. There is nothing that limits us, since there is no predetermined set of constraints that we are born with. So we exist, we are born, and then we make our essence. Then we become who we are based on our choices, based on our freely chosen or made decisions. Now that is so beautiful, but at the same time, it is scary. It's very, very scary, which brings me to the second statement that I was, if you will, fascinated by when I heard it, when I read it by Sartre. And he said that humans, or we are condemned to be free. We are condemned to be free. He used the word condemned to describe freedom, a negative word to describe a very, very beautiful thing. And I thought to myself, what is he talking about? Sartre must be high when he used the word condemned to describe freedom. But here's what he means. The first thing that he means by that is that we cannot choose not to choose. No matter what we do, we always have to choose. So if I decide not to choose, that in itself is a choice.
Soy estudiante de penúltimo semestre de la carrera de educación. Actualmente trabajo de sombra, que es con una niña con necesidad educativa especial, y me doy cuenta que vivimos en una sociedad en donde no sabemos ser libres, debido a que siempre estamos acostumbrados esperando a ver qué nos dicen que hagamos, tanto en la casa, en hacer selección de carrera, en el trabajo, en la sociedad en general. No estamos todavía preparados para dicho acto.
So when we start talking about the absurd, one of the more prominent figures that talks about it is Albert Camus. And what he wants to say is you get caught in this sort of hamster wheel type existence where every day becomes basically the same as the last, in the sense that, say for example here in driven capitalist America, where people wake up every single day at the same time, usually around 8 o'clock, we'll say 7 o'clock maybe if you got to be there a little bit earlier, and you go about your same routine. You get your breakfast, you do your daily hygienic routine, you get in your car, you drive down the highway, and you go to your work where you're going to be there for about 8 hours every day, and then you do the same thing in reverse order, in the sense that you're coming back home in the opposite direction to do the exact same thing, and every day is like this, every day, Monday through Friday. And what Albert Camus wants to say is this is pretty much absurd. He wants to compare it to the myth of Sisyphus, in the sense that every day you're rolling a rock up a hill, And you're never ever going to get to the top of the hill. Every time you get close to the top of the hill, the rock's going to roll right back down the hill. And yet you keep trying to roll that rock up the hill, but you never pause to consider exactly why you're doing this.
Yo soy profesionista, trabajo en la industria maquiladora en Ciudad Juárez y he visto cómo tanto a mí como a mis compañeros nos ha absorbido la vida laboral que la sociedad nos exige. Trabajamos de 6 de la mañana a 6 de la tarde todos los días, de lunes a domingo, y he visto cómo todos, tanto yo como la gente que me rodea, siempre vivimos por tener más y más, y eso nos lleva a trabajar y trabajar. La sociedad y la industria nos exige trabajar y trabajar como si en realidad fuéramos unas máquinas, como si en realidad no nos cansáramos, en busca de obtener las mejores cosas y de siempre querer tener la mejor ropa, tener los mejores autos, vivir en los mejores residenciales. Y en realidad nos preguntamos siempre por qué el problema de la familia en la sociedad. ¿Cómo no va a haber ese problema si estamos enfocados solo en buscar las mejores cosas materiales, solo en trabajar, y la familia la dejamos de un lado? Pienso que debemos de ocuparnos, en lugar de trabajar toda la vida y dedicar el 80% de nuestro tiempo en el trabajo, ¿por qué no buscar la forma de trabajar solo el 50% de nuestro tiempo y el demás tiempo tratarlo de disfrutar con la familia, o tratarlo de disfrutar con las cosas que tenemos? Acomodarnos con lo que tenemos y no siempre estar buscando más y más. Cortar nuestra felicidad por el hecho de querer tener cosas de mayor valor para que la gente vea que tenemos los mejores autos, las mejores cosas. Sí, pienso que debemos de enfocarnos para poder disfrutar nuestra familia, y eso es lo más valioso, ¿verdad? Al final y al cabo, las cosas materiales pues son eso, ¿verdad? Material. Y la familia pues creo que son las cosas más ricas que podemos tener.
When you start to realize it in that sense, that it doesn't leave much room for the individual. It doesn't leave much room for you as a purpose, this idea that you're nothing more than this mechanistic function, just taking part in, this larger scheme. It doesn't really leave much room for you as an individual to assert yourself, let alone say that I, for sure, was born for this reason. And this is exactly where the existential portion, existentialism in general, comes into play, when it starts to realize, like, no, my life matters. Me, irrespective of what my purpose is on the earth, I may not have known it, but I'm going to try to figure it out, whether it's by actively trying to give my life purpose, by, rebelling against the absurd and realizing it's nihilism, the absurdity, all of this. Like, even though it's absurd to rebel against the absurd, I'm going to do it anyways, because in doing so, I'm establishing my life. Right? The process of doing so, that's going to dictate what my life is. These projects that you undertake throughout the course of your life, whether it be your schooling, an artistic endeavor, whatever the case might be, something that is unique and specific to you.
You are the only you in the entire universe. And if the universe is infinite, and you could meet all the beings in the universe, well, you couldn't do that. Because no matter how many beings you met, there would still be an infinite number of beings that you had not met. Furthermore, each one of us is one of those infinite beings. And that in itself is a miracle.
The human being in general doesn't come with any predefined purpose in life.
So the point that I'm trying to make is that the existentialism, on the one hand, is liberating, is beautiful, because it gives us 100% freedom to decide who we are or what to become. Nothing, not our genetic makeup, not our social circumstances, can stop us from from becoming what we want to become. They might influence us, definitely our genetic makeup and our environmental circumstances might influence our choices, but they don't determine our choices. On the other hand, as I was saying, it's scary because once we choose, we have to be responsible for the decisions or the results or the consequences that result from these choices. So, for example, we started this documentary this interview by choosing to be in a classroom. That was our choice. We chose that, but then we got in trouble because somebody else, another teacher, had to use that class, and I'm going to get in trouble with my dean now. But it was my choice. And so now we chose to come here outside, but then it was our choice. We decided that, but then we had to put up with the shades and the sun and whatever. So yes, we choose, but we have to put up with the responsibility. And because responsibility is hard, because when things go wrong, we cannot point the finger at somebody else, but the finger has to be pointed at us, saying, I am responsible, it was my choice. That's why a lot of people relinquish that freedom, or they think that they're not choosing, and that's why a lot of people decide to follow government or even invent God, because God is the ultimate source of responsibility. If something goes wrong, we can claim that, hey man, that's the nature of things. God wanted it that way. In which case, we're not responsible. But guess what? You're still responsible, because according to most existentialists, starting with Nietzsche, God is dead. And you're the only one left to decide what is right and what is wrong and put up with the responsibilities of that choice.